Hey everyone, welcome to your subject in retail management, and I'll be discussing the first chapter, which is all about the introduction to the world of retailing. And we are using the 10th edition of the book Retailing Management by Michael Levy, PhD. Well, I'm not sure if it's Levi or Levy. Forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. And then it is also co-authored by Barton A. Witts, PhD, and Drew Grewal, PhD. Okay, so we will start this chapter with a definition of retailing. So, retailing is the set of business activities that adds value to products and services sold to consumers for their personal or family use. So, if you notice, I put some emphasis on the phrase adds value to products and services. So, retailing does not only deals with the selling of products and services, but it also adds value to these products and services. So, you might be wondering how retail adds value. Well, that is something that we will talk about a few moments from now. And then, retailing is not always done in stores. Yes, not all retailing are done in stores. We also have non-store retailing, like for example, ordering from Lazada or Shopee, which is very dominant right now during this time of pandemic. Another example of non-store retailing is when you order from an Avon or Natasha or MSE salesperson. Okay, so before going into the role of the retailer in a supply chain, we will first define what is a retailer. So a retailer is a business that sells products and or services to consumers for their personal or family use. The retailer typically buys products from wholesalers and or manufacturers and then resell them to consumers. And here's now the role of the retailer in a supply chain. So the retailer links manufacturers to consumers. So that is the role of the retailer in the supply chain. Again, links manufacturers to consumers. So now we will define supply chain. So a supply chain is a set of firms or companies that make and deliver goods and services to consumers. So here is an example of a supply chain. So it starts with the manufacture of the goods. Then the goods are sold to the wholesalers, who then sold the goods to the retailers. And then the retailers will then sell the goods to the consumer. So this just proves how important the retailers are. Goods or services will never get to the consumers without the retailers. So as I mentioned earlier, retailers link manufacturers to consumers. And we have a question right here. Why are retailers needed? So retailers are needed because they add a value and are more efficient at adding this kind of value than the manufacturers or wholesalers. And here's how. Number one, retailers provide an assortment of products and services. Number two, retailers break bulk. Number three, they hold inventory. And number four, they provide services. Okay, so we're going to discuss these four items one by one. And we'll start with number one, providing an assortment of products and services. Okay, so just take a look with the Emperor Plaza we have here in Manukan. They sell assorted products from shampoos, detergents, toothpaste, canned goods, junk foods, seasonings, and a lot more. And these products came from different brands, just like detergents. So, for example, there's Surf, Ariel, Pride, Tide, what else? Breeze, and so on. There are different sizes too, right? There's 1,000 grams and there's smaller ones also. And the prices, we can easily compare the prices of different products, brands, and sizes because we are in the same location. So, see, imagine if there's no retailers and then manufacturers have their own stores for their products. So, if you wanted to cook a spaghetti, so we go to the store of, let's say, El Real for the pasta, and then for the paste, you go to the Del Monte. Well, I'm not sure if Del Monte has a paste for spaghetti, ha. Disclaimer lang guys, I am not sure if I'm telling you the right ingredients for the spaghetti kay I don't cook in the first place. Where are we? Okay, paste. And then for the condensed milk, we go to the store of Angel. Listen here because I don't know what else are there in the spaghetti. So, see, that's how important retailers are. Another value creating activity made by retailers is that they break bulk. So, manufacturers and wholesalers ship their products to the retailers in bulk in order to lessen the transportation cost. Then, the retailers will offer these products in smaller quantities to the consumers to allow them to buy the specific product they want in smaller and more useful quantities. And this activity is known as breaking bulk. So if there is no retailer, we will be forced to buy products in bulk and it's not practical to us. It's going to be expensive and how can we all use the products, diba? Basin ma-expire lang and it's sayang. The third value creating activity undertaken by retailers is that they hold inventories. So this is a major value providing activity made by the retailers. And because of this, consumers can have few pieces of the products at home because they know that such products are available in the local retailers when they need it. The last value creating activity undertaken by retailers is that they provide services that make it easier for customers to buy and use products. The services provided by retailers include but not limited to displaying products in the shelves so that the consumers can see it and if possible test it before buying. Um, Another one, employing salespersons in the stores or having websites to answer questions and provide additional information about the products they sell. Moving on to the cost of channel activities. So while the value creating activities undertaken by channel members provide benefits to customers, they also increase the cost of products and services. So this is given already. Of course, value creating activities entails cost, and that cost are going to be part of the cost that customers has to pay, plus the fact that the retailer sold products for profit because of course that's what business are for. So as a result, prices of products really will tend to high. There are retailers that perform other activities in the channel. They perform wholesaling and production activities. But before going into that, let us first define the term wholesalers. So, wholesalers are those that buy and store merchandise in large quantities from manufacturers and then resell the merchandise, usually in smaller quantities, to retailers. Okay, so going back to what I previously mentioned a while ago, there are retailers that perform wholesaling and production activities. So this actually refers to vertical integration. So vertical integration means that a firm performs more than one set of activities in the channels. Like for example, when a retailer engages in wholesaling activities by operating its own distribution centers to supply its stores. So simply put, vertical integration is when a company owns multiple assets in a supply chain. So for example, the Apple company. So Apple has a supplier that makes all of its products. If Apple owns that supplier, let's say Apple makes their own products for themselves, this is what we called backward integration. So simply put, backward integration is when the company goes back to own the supply process. Now, Apple products are being sold to different retail stores, but in the early 2000s, the Apple company started operating its own retail store. And in this case, Apple company applied the forward integration. So in forward integration, the company goes forward by owning the retailing process. Now we will discuss the economic and social significance of retailing. So for the developed economies, the retail sector plays a very important role, not only because consumer demand is an indication of a vibrant financial system, but also because retailers are large employers. For the developing economies or the bottom of the pyramid or BOPs, retailers still play a vital role in the developing economies. There are still a lot of opportunities waiting and serving the people living in the lowest end of the income distribution. People from here still have significant spending power, and also there is a social benefit involved when serving the people of the BOP, and that is reducing the worldwide poverty. For the society, the responsibility of the retailers include the consideration of the needs of all its stakeholders. Well, the needs and objectives of the stakeholders differ from one another. Like for example, the customers want low prices of products and services. Shareholders or the company owners, they want high profits. The employees want high wages and some want an eco-friendly way of conducting business. Because of the diversity of the needs and objectives of the shareholders, forward thinking retailers now starting to adopt the concept of conscious marketing. The conscious marketing is realizing the deeper purpose of the company and not just the thought of having profit. So, this conscious marketing has four overriding principles, and these are: one, recognition of the retailing firm's greater purpose; number two, consideration of stakeholders and their interdependence; three, the presence of conscious leadership creating a corporate culture; and four, the understanding that decisions are ethically based. Okay, so now we will discuss the first overriding principle of conscious marketing, and that is the recognition of the retailing firm's greater purpose. So, when the retailing company realizes that its purpose is more than just making profits, instead, providing employment opportunities for the community and others, the actions of the company will definitely change and focus. Second principle of conscious marketing is the consideration of stakeholders and their interdependence. So this is all about considering how the company's actions affect the stakeholders. This is realizing that in order to serve many stakeholders without causing damage to any others, they must set aside their focus on maximizing profits. Instead, retailers should think about how their actions might affect the stakeholders. Third principle of conscious marketing is the presence of conscious leadership, creating a corporate culture. So this means that the leaders of the company must be fully dedicated in instilling at all levels of the company the principle of being conscious so as to create a form of culture that will be observed and embedded by all the members of the company. And with that, the stakeholders can recognize the higher principle involved. And then the last principle is the understanding that decisions are ethically based. So, retailers that adopt conscious marketing make decisions based on business ethics. When we say business ethics, it has to do with knowing what is right and wrong actions and decisions that arise in a business setting according to a broad and well-established moral principles. The retailer's ethical way of thinking may be challenged by different instances from day to day. Like, for example, should they advertise that its prices are the lowest available in the market, even if some are not? Should they use high pressure sales approach when they know that the product is not the best for the customers? Should they promote a product as being on sale even if it never sold at a higher non-sale price, and a lot more? So, conscious marketing might be demanding on the part of the retailers, but this is really a good business practice as it attracts customers with similar opinions and interests as the retailers. And would later, these customers become more engaged and loyal to them. So, now we will talk about the evolution of the retail industry. The retail industry has changed dramatically over the years. Many well known national and international retailers were once small startup companies. Now, the industry is dominated by large firms. The development of the information systems is one of the forces that facilitates the growth of large retailers. Before the availability of the modern information systems, it was difficult for retailers to lower cost through economies of scale, and larger retailers had limited advantages over small local or regional retailers. With these information systems, retailers are able to efficiently and effectively manage millions of customer transactions with thousands of stores and suppliers across the globe. Now we will proceed to the role of information systems. So in the evolution of retail industry, I previously mentioned that the availability of modern information systems allow retailers to efficiently and effectively manage millions of customer transactions with thousands of stores and suppliers across the globe. So this information system helps retailers and identifying their best customers and target customized promotions to them. And then use the purchase data to determine how to place products in closer proximity when the data show that many customers buy the same products at the same time. And use location data to tailor the assortment of products in each store to match the needs of the store's local market. We consumers may not realize how sophisticated the information systems used by the retailers, but to give us a glimpse of that, we have here an example. So, when you decided to buy an item from a store, the POS or the point of sale terminal at the checkout counter transmits the data of the transaction to the distribution center of the retailer and then on the manufacturer. The data about your purchase are going to be incorporated to an inventory management system. So when the inventory level of the retail store drops below a pre-specified level, there will be an electronic notice that will be automatically transmitted, authorizing the shipment of more units to the distribution center of the retailer and then to the store. Then a computer program will then analyzes the data from sales to determine how many and which type of item will be stocked in the retail store and what price will be charged. Management and entrepreneurial opportunities. So the world of retailing offers management opportunities and business opportunities. So under the management opportunities, the retailers employ people with expertise and interest in finance, accounting, human resource management, supply chain management, and computer systems, as well as management and marketing. So I'm going to provide you a separate list of management opportunities and I'm going to post it or upload it in the Canvas LMS. And then for entrepreneurial opportunities or business opportunities, so the retailing also provides opportunities like this for people who wish to start their own business. So let's move on to the retail management decision process. So the retail management decision process has four phases. The first phase is knowing the world of retailing. Second is all about the retailing strategy. Third is all about merchandise management. And fourth is all about human resource and store management. So we will be discussing all these phases and all the subtopics in each phases as we go along in our course. In the first phase of the retail management decision process, the retail managers need to know the environment in which they operate before they can develop and implement effective strategies. So there are two critical environmental factors in the world of retailing, and these are the macro environment and the micro environment. The macro environment includes technological, social, and ethical or legal or political factors in retailing, and this will be discussed as we go along our discussions in this subject. The microenvironment, on the other hand, focuses specifically on its competitors and customers. The primary competitors of the retailers are the other retailers that use the same retailing approach. That is why department stores compete against other department stores and supermarkets compete against other supermarkets. And this kind of competition is known as intra-type competition. When retailers offer merchandise not typically associated with their type of store, like for example, selling clothing in a drugstore, the result is known as scrambled merchandising. And this kind of merchandising increases the inter-type competition or the competition among retailers that sell similar merchandise using different types of retail outlets, such as drug stores and department stores. The second factor in the microenvironment is the customers. So, retailers must respond to the broad demographic and lifestyle trends in our society. To develop and implement an effective strategy, retailers must understand why customers shop, how they select a store, and how they select among the store's merchandise. And this will be discussed in full details in the fourth module or in the fourth chapter. And also, all the phases and including its relevant steps in the retail management decision process will be fully discussed as we go along the way in our discussion in the next chapters or modules. So, for now, we will end up here and let's see each other in the next discussion. So, thank you for watching.